Hello everyone, this is Mustafa once again from AV Aachen, and if you've reached this video, this means you are able to download Python and Visual Studio Code successfully, and that's great. And if you faced any problems, please leave them in the comments and we will be assisting you. So, if you downloaded Visual Studio Code and opened it, that's the first thing you're going to see. And let's get started right away and create a new file to write some Python code. So, first of all, just go to File and then New File, or Control N. And then that's where we are going to be writing some Python code, but before anything, we have to save the file in a specific format. Exactly like PDF files, you save the file as .pdf, or with PowerPoint presentations, you save it with .ppt. Same thing with Python, you have to save it with a file extension, and that is .py. So let's do that by going to File and then Save. You can click also Control S, and then just name your file and then write .py. But make sure not to select plain text, but rather select all files, alright? And then click Save. So, first things first, there is something called variables in programming languages, and you can think of variables as buckets or containers where you can save values in them. These values can be numbers, they can be text, they can be letters, they can be true or false, they can be dates, they can be lists, they can be all sorts of things, alright? So let's get started and play around with some of these things. So I'm going to put two numbers in two variables, so x equals 2 and y equals 3. Alright, so I just assigned two variables with two different values, and then I want to print these two values, so I'm going to print x and then I'm going to print y. Alright, once you do that, just click on this green triangle over there, and you're going to be running your Python file, and that's it. First of all, behind the scenes, what happens is that Python puts 2 inside of x and then 3 inside of y, and an empty line doesn't make any difference. You can put as much lines as you want, and then you print what you put in x, and that's why we got number 2, and then you print what you put in y, and that's why we got number 3. Alright, so let's put other things. So I'm going to put, I don't know, in a word variable, and variables can be named anything, literally anything. I'm going to put hello world in this. Alright, okay, this is a sentence, and I'm going to print that. Alright, print word. And let's run that. So again, we got 2 and 3 because that's what we printed in the beginning, and then we printed hello world. So simple as that. Python is really similar to English in some things because you can just simply say what you want and it's going to happen. Alright? So there are all sorts of types that we can put in variables, and let's cover also something called Boolean. So Boolean is basically true or false. Alright? So if I would name a variable flag and then I would put in it true, and then I print this flag, okay, it's just going to print true. True, alright? This is gonna come handy in something called if conditionals, and we're gonna be covering that soon. But for now, just know that variables can store all sorts of values, alright, and all sorts of data types. Now, let's cover something really quick, alright? Arithmetic operations. So let's do some math with Python. So printing the summation of two numbers is as simple as that. You can just say x plus y. Right, and it's going to add whatever's in these two variables. If they were 5 and 6, it's going to print out 11. If it's 3 and 2, it's going to print out 5. So if you see that, we print at 5. Alright, you can print the multiplication of these two numbers. So print x times y, and that's with this asterisk here. So, and if you click run, you're going to get 6 because 3 times 2 is 6. Alright, you can also print the division of two numbers. So y divided by x. You can also divide y by 2, you can do anything, and you're going to get also the number in decimal numbers. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Alright, so if you want to do power, so for example y power x, alright, so that's 3 power 2, and that's 9, you're going to get 9 as well. Alright, so that's how you do the power. And so what else? You can also do subtraction, so print y minus x, and just quick run, you're going to get 1, because 3 minus 2 is 1. And yeah, so Let's also cover something, so aside from all of these, a good practice in programming generally is commenting whatever you write, right? So if you're writing a lot of code and you're not the only one looking at this code, it's better to comment it, all right? So that someone else who's reading your code would understand what you meant there, all right? And this is going to get really useful in long codes and big codes, and especially in big teams. And it's also useful if you're writing code for yourself to, if you look back at this code in like a month or so, you would know what was going on there, right? So to write comments, they will have totally no effect in the results of your code. It's just freely writing text. So I can just write this as a comment, and it's not going to do any difference. So the result is going to be exactly the same as before, all right? And if you want to do more than one line of comments, you basically make 3 quotation marks, and then 3 other quotation marks, and then you write all what you want here, alright? I'm just writing any text, and it won't have any effect on the actual code. Alright, so this was a really small introduction into the basics of Python. There's a lot more to this, and I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but if you have any question, if you want to know what else you can save in variables, you can Google that. Basically, I'm just showing you the basics so that you can have like a head start. And if you have any other specific comments, just leave them in the comments, and we will be answering them as soon as possible. All right, so see you in the next video. We will be covering if conditionals and loops. All right, so stay safe, guys, and see you in the next one.